Okay guys, welcome to another Q&A video. These are the videos where I answer all of your questions, funnily enough. So anytime you comment a question, it might be featured in one of these videos. Anyway, let's jump right into it and get started. So the first question I have here is, in the last video you mentioned that animated video is the best service, but how can you make it a recurring service that will continuously bring clients? So first of all, I would say it's a misconception that you only want a recurring service because you're going to have return clients anyway. With my animated video business, 30% of my clients come back for more videos. So your clients end up becoming recurring even with one-off projects. However, in saying that, there are ways to make animated videos recurring. Promotion.com had a really interesting offer where they were basically offering unlimited video production, but you need to pay a monthly retainer and you need to sign up for 6 to 12 months. Now, the way that they made this profitable was they explained to their clients that they can only produce their videos sequentially, so one video at a time. And the reason for this is each client is given a certain amount of capacity of production per month from an individual team. So you can only really work on one video at a time anyway. And the way it works out is that, some clients might produce 10 videos because they might have a lot of really short videos, they might not have many revisions, they might be very simple videos, whereas other clients might have really big, high quality videos that have a lot of revisions. Then those are going to be the ones, of course, that do one a week. So it can really vary a lot with your clients, but the way that it becomes profitable is because you're paying your team hourly. So each team is paid an hourly rate, 40 hours a week. So because your team members are paid an hourly rate, it allows you to determine what the fixed costs are going to be for your package. And that way you can provide the client with a retainer-based pricing on a monthly amount. So each client will be awarded a certain amount of hours per month of production time. So you can take the cost of that production time, so let's say it's $500, and then you can just charge a client, let's say $1,000, and then you have $500 profit. So that's how you'd make it recurring. Just offer an unlimited option, but produce the video sequentially and give the client a certain number of hours of production per month. I started an explainer video agency, and your first business was one too. How did you create trust as a new company? So it's a good question. Generally, just be professional in the way you communicate, and how your website looks, your social media page. But a really good tactic that just builds a lot of trust with clients is just having past work from your freelancers, because providing that proof that you're able to actually deliver the thing that you're saying you're able to deliver creates a lot of trust. They can see, hey, look, I can see that you've done this before. You're probably going to be able to do it for me too. Will drop servicing become outdated because of AI? No, it's not particularly susceptible to AI more than any other industry is. The thing with drop servicing, it's a very creative industry. So it takes a lot of human input to create projects, deliver services, etc. Depends on the service, of course, but there's hundreds of different services that we offer. It really does depend. Of course, things like writing, you can still offer writing to clients, but what they're doing now is they're putting in contracts, for example, that you can't use ChatGPT and things like this. So it's not like suddenly things are going to stop working in the economy as a whole, but it's just going to be a transition over the next 50, 100 years, whatever it may be. Who knows how fast it will be. But no, drop servicing is not particularly susceptible to it. What websites do we use to find clients that are already looking for services? You can use things like Upwork.com, freelance.com. Clients will already post the projects they're looking for there, and you can see what kind of services different kind of companies are posting. We pay the freelance after we get paid, right? So why would the client pay us before they get their service done? Well, it's just like any business. That's just how it works. You pay and then you get something. For example, when you go to McDonald's, you pay before you get your Big Mac. But just with any kind of service-based business, generally you're paying at least a deposit, so 50% deposit up front, and then upon delivery, the other 50%, including all other additional costs that might come up during production. So it's just normal to the client. There's no special convincing that you need to do that. So if you've liked any of these answers so far, don't forget to like this video. It really helps me out. But let's get into the next question here, because what if the client doesn't like the service and asks for a refund? So across all my businesses, my refund rate is generally below 1%. So we don't really have that issue, because what we do is we actually explain everything to the client before they begin. So the timeline, how long it's going to take, the deliverables, the costs, all of these things, answer all of the questions before they come up during production, so that they understand what's going to happen. They're not surprised by anything during production, and that will really prevent most of your refunds. But if a client asks for a refund, you can just give one to them. It just depends though. So for example, in some of my businesses, what I'll do is I'll have in the contract that if they ask for a refund at a certain stage, they'll get a certain percentage of their money refunded because we still need to pay the team for the work that they've done. Where do I find good freelancers? Well, you can get good freelancers on Upwork, freelance.com, Fiverr, all of the freelancing platforms out there. But what is the hardest part about drop servicing? Well, for me, I think the hardest part about drop servicing is that period of building the business before you get your first sale, because before you actually have the proof and not promises that you can actually do this and get results, before you get to that point, you're not going to be fully confident in it. And when you're not fully confident, you don't take the right actions, you don't persevere, and you're much more likely to give up because you haven't created the identity yet of being someone that gets sales, because of course it hasn't happened yet. So during this period, it's really, I think, the hardest part because it's all a mindset thing. You're just kind of racking your brain, is it going to work for me? Is it going to happen for me? And I remember, how it felt when I started my first business. It was like that for me for 3 months. So it happens, and what I would say is just to keep persevering. I really like the image of that guy in the mine going towards the diamonds, and he gives up. One of them gives up and goes back, and the other one gets through and gets the diamonds, and that's just very true. What is the most profitable niche for 2023? Well, there's so many of them that I could go over here, but one that I think is really interesting right now is 3D animation for medical clinics. And the reason I say this is, in general, a lot of drop services and people overall, they're looking for the easy way out. So they might just offer animated videos to business owners, like very, very broad, and it works. But you're going to get much greater profit margins, much greater revenue if you go after the niches, because the niches are willing to spend a lot more money for the expertise that you provide. So the reason that medical clinics are great are because they make a lot of money, first of all, of course, but they have a great need as well for these 3D videos, because these videos basically show the medical procedures, which they can then show to their potential patients, which will lead to more patient signups, more money for them, but also peace of mind for the patient, understanding how the procedure is going to take place visually rather than just imagining it. And of course, they don't want to see it like videotaped live. That wouldn't be very pleasant, but having on animated video makes things just look a lot better, feel a lot better. How do you find good freelancers again across these platforms? What do you do? Because I don't want to come across as unprofessional when I deliver a bad service. It's simple, really. You just compare all of the different freelancers to one another by looking at their reviews, their past work, their pricing, everything you can see on their profile. And it's going to give you a good idea of which freelancers are good, which freelancers are bad. And then from there, you're just having a conversation with them, testing out the relationship, and then seeing how it goes. How long until I'll get sales? So we all want to know, right? How long will it take me to get sales? I was thinking the same thing as well when I started my first business. But at the end of the day, everybody knows the answer. Nobody knows, right? It could take a week, it could take weeks, could take months, could take a year. I know one guy, it took him 1 year to get his first sale in his business, and he has $1 million revenue a year business now. So it can happen. It can take a long time, but you just have to be really willing to commit to the dream of making this happen. You have to really want it. And I think that's really important for getting the successes, that perseverance that we were talking a little bit about earlier with the guy in the mine, right? That's what I think is really, really crucial as a mindset, because if you're worrying about how long it's going to take to get sales, eventually you're going to end up giving up because you're like, oh, it's taken a month, that's such a long time. Whereas another person might be like, oh, a month, that wasn't very long, it took me 3 months. So it's really relative to the other people out there at the end of the day, how long it's going to take. But what I would say is focus more on the fact that you believe that's going to happen for you, because when you believe that you're going to achieve something, when you really have that dream and you're going after that dream, putting all of your effort into it, you end up taking more action and taking better action, doing the right things, and that leads to more results, that leads to getting sales faster. So that's the most important thing, is just committing and actually putting in the work. Why did you decide to start an online business? Well, I always wanted to start a business. I just didn't know what business, I didn't know how to do it, which is why, buying that $5,000 course, which was way too much for the information that was in it. It was all very basic information, but that really helped because I implemented that, and after 3 months got my first sales. But the thing is that I just wanted to be able to travel, enjoy myself, and have the freedom, not be attached to a cubicle for my whole life, and actually have control over my time. That was always the most important thing for me. But it's funny, it says here, how long did it take you to get your first sale? So I just said 3 months. Basically, 2 months of that was building the business, the website, offering all of that, finding freelancers. then 1 month of marketing to get my first sale. So in case you haven't already, don't forget to watch the training in the description below this video where I'm going to show you how to make your first $10,000 with drop servicing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about how to build a drop servicing business and actually get actionable content on it. And comment below any questions at all that you have for me. I might answer you in an upcoming Q&A video, but otherwise I'll see you in the next video.